Hello and welcome to Analysis. A recent twin suicide bombing has killed 85 people in northwest Pakistan. The two attackers struck at the end of a service at the All Saints Church in Peshawar on Sunday. Christianity is a minority religion in Pakistan with a following of around 4% of the population. Churches have become targets in the recent past, but this incident is the worst to hit the Christian community for many years. The attacks by a Taliban group not only threaten to worsen sectarian tensions in Pakistan, but could derail the ongoing peace process between Taliban insurgents and the government in Kabul in Afghanistan. Here's Alex MacDonald with more.
Christians protest against an attack on a church in Peshawar, the latest act of sectarian violence in Pakistan which left 85 worshippers dead. The attack, carried out by the Pakistani Taliban, has instilled fears about the safety of Christians in a country where the militant group have threatened to continue killing non-Muslims until the US ceases drone strikes on the country.
Who are these people? Muslims are standing with us. Then who are the people who carried out these bombings? Who will search for them? We don't have answers to these questions, and we are here to find the answer as to who is doing this and who will search and find them. Who will punish them?
Pakistan's Christian minority, the largest religious minority after Hinduism, is notoriously impoverished and disenfranchised in the country. The Taliban often associate Christians in Pakistan with foreign influences, due to Christianity's affiliation with Europe and America, making them a prominent target for violence, trying to provoke American sympathies. But the violence also threatens to undermine joint efforts by the Pakistan and Afghan governments to negotiate with the Taliban leadership, efforts which last week led to the release of Mullah Baradar, a former Taliban leader who was arrested in Karachi in 2010.
Mullah Baradar is supposed to be released from Pakistan prison today. His release is based on the Afghan government's demand. We asked for his release. He is an Afghan citizen. He is imprisoned outside Afghanistan and is an elder of the Taliban. Although he was fighting against the Afghan government, we asked for his freedom.
His release has been part of direct efforts by Karzai to try and normalise relations with the Taliban in light of the pullout of American forces in 2014, even offering them participation in the political process.
The Taliban are also welcome. There will be an election in the next 7 months. They should have their candidate and get people's votes. They should build their own government.
But talks with the Pakistani Taliban have been threatened by the continuing violence, with the new Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif warning of the church attack. Such incidents are not conducive for peace talks. Unfortunately, because of this, the government is unable to move forward on what it had envisaged, on what it had wished for. Allama Tahir Ashrafi, chairman of Pakistan's Clerics Council, has condemned the church attack as un-Islamic and cited the importance in Islam of protecting minorities. But the murder of Christians, Shiites and Hindus across Pakistan has, for a long time, drawn fears of a country spiralling into sectarian conflict. For many, though, the bloodshed they have to face on a daily basis is a national problem that cuts across religious lines and threatens to undermine a once diverse and tolerant country.
Whether it was done to Muslims or Christians or to followers of any faith, this is barbarity. We are Muslims, but we have been trying to help them as much as we can. We are digging their graves with them.
Alex MacDonald, Islam Channel.
Well, with me in the studio to discuss the Taliban influence in Pakistan are Azhar Javaid, who's chief of the Dunya Newsgroup UK Bureau, Toaha Qureshi, MBE and chairman of the Forum of International Relations and Development, and joining us on Skype is Yunas, Professor of South Asian Studies at the School of Social and International Studies at Bradford University. Welcome to the programme, all of you. Let's just stick first of all with the question of the relations inside Pakistan. Has this recent bombing made any serious difference to domestic politics in Pakistan?
Thank you very much, Rees. First of all, this was a tragic incident, and people in Pakistan, whether he is a Muslim, a Christian or other religion, they condemned it, and they are very much in grief on this incident. If you see the reaction after that incident, the Muslims came to rescue the Christians from the church. On the other hand, the effect, Prime Minister of Pakistan was in London 2 days ago. He was going to General Assembly. When we talked to him, he says that it will be very difficult now to move forward in negotiation with Taliban. So you can see it's a very serious statement, because just 1 or 2 weeks ago, all parties in Pakistan were sit on the table and they decided to negotiate with the Taliban. But the two recent incidents in which, in first incident when a general of Pakistan Army with some senior officers was killed in a roadside bomb, and the second, this one, I think it will be very difficult for the government now to proceed with the negotiation with the Taliban. And now serious questions have been raised that they are killing Pakistanis on one hand, and on the other side, government is saying to hold a negotiation with them. So opinion has been now divided in Pakistan whether they should hold talks with the Taliban or not.
Toaha, in terms of domestic politics in Pakistan, is what we're seeing here, rather than Pakistan playing a role in bringing peace in Afghanistan, the Afghanistan conflict producing conflict in Pakistan?
Well, John, it's a multi-dimensional issue, as a matter of fact. It's not just Taliban and Pakistan, or not just Taliban, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. There are many other players in this whole conflict, and there are many other stakeholders. But our heart goes to those victims, and our prayers are for those people who died in this whole incident. And it has been condemned today. As a matter of fact, we had a very big seminar where Islamic scholars and Christian leaders, they got together at our secretariat. And there was a conference on this whole issue. The stakeholders, particularly Afghanistan, Pakistan, Taliban, and United States and Britain and many other countries, this argument having a dialogue or not, it's been going on for a long time. As a matter of fact, in 2006, we held a conference in Pakistan, Dialogue Amongst Civilizations, where we had all the stakeholders on table. This particular issue in Peshawar, what's happened, it's been condemned by almost every single person, whether it's from the religious community or secular community, Muslims, non-Muslims. Taliban, they have no support from the ordinary community. Taliban, they have no support from the significant number or the majority of the Islamic scholars in Pakistan. Now, is it really this issue? Has someone accepted the responsibility from Taliban? This is one question. Second, has it brought the communities together, or the communities are divided in Pakistan? What we see, I'm sure you will echo that as well, what we see practically is it has brought the communities together. To us, today we saw an example here in the UK. In Pakistan, it was announcements were made in the mosques and the Islamic seminaries to come together and support our Christian brothers and sisters and help them out in this very difficult time. So it has brought the communities together rather than it has divided us.
Yunas, let me bring you into the discussion here. Well, what do you think the impact is, both of this particular incident and the longer-term impact of the conflict in Afghanistan on Pakistan's domestic politics? Yunas, can you hear me?
Sorry?
Can you hear me? I was just asking you what
Yes, I can hear you.
I was just asking you what you think the impact is of the war in Afghanistan on Pakistan's domestic politics.
Well, I think that this has become this became a feature of the elections, where a number of political parties were arguing that the reason why we are having so much terrorism is because of the U.S. presence in Afghanistan. And so, you know, during the elections, I mean, what you call groups like Nawaz Sharif and the Muslim League, the PTI, Imran Khan, Jamaat Islami, weren't attacked by the Taliban, while other groups were, because they were seen more sympathetic. So this whole idea came out that the way forward would be to negotiate with the Taliban in Pakistan and try to resolve the differences. And almost immediately, I mean, they began to realize that there were a number of difficulties. I mean, they don't have any direct intermediaries to talk directly to the Taliban. They found that the Taliban was saying things like, well, we don't accept the Constitution of Pakistan, we don't accept girls' rights, education for girls, it raised, fundamental issues. How do you negotiate a group which basically, what you call is so far distant, ideologically speaking? And then as the idea of negotiations became even more what you call realistic, and Nawaz Sharif was, got the all-party conference behind him to support this negotiation move. The Baitullah Masood upped the demands by saying withdrawal of 150,000 troops from Fatah and the release of political prisoners. And so and now we have had what you call this attack in Peshawar on the church, which really seems to be saying that a lot of these people are not actually interested in negotiation, because there is very little for them in a Pakistan where they what you call where they aren't involved in conflict. And I think this raises what you call the difficulty of actually bringing these people to the negotiation table. Because I think what you have is a generation of men who only know fighting. I mean, more than we're talking about at least 3 decades in some cases. People only know about fighting.
Just going to put some of those points to my guests in the studio here. I mean, is there a reality to that point that Yunas just made, that the pressure for negotiations is coming from Afghanistan? President Karzai has been constantly going on about this, but yet there's nothing for the Taliban in Pakistan in terms of negotiations. Is that one of the reasons why we're seeing this conflict?
Basically, there is a problem, John. There are around 25 groups of Taliban operating in Pakistan. So it's very difficult for government to choose which group they are going to negotiate. There are criminals element as well who are operating on the name of Taliban. If you see the kidnapping for ransom, most of the victims have been released from these areas where the Taliban operating. So it have also a criminal element as well. So in these 25 groups, majority is a criminal element who are taking shelter behind the Taliban. So Pakistan recently released Mullah Baradar to start negotiation with the Afghan Taliban. According to our sources, America is backing these negotiations, and Afghan government is also very much keen, so that the pressure on America, so when they are going to withdraw from Afghanistan next year, so they will have empty space over there. So even the Karzai offering Taliban to participate in election. So Pakistan government have been given a task from Western countries, from Afghanistan, to settle this matter, because Pak Army or ISI, you can say, is a major player in that area. So according to the circumstances and the news which we get, and the talk with the Prime Minister which we held 2 days ago, it looked like that it will go on. There are some difficulties, but because in the Pakistani parliament, only one party is against holding negotiation with Taliban, that's MQM, Muttahida Qawmi Movement. All other parties are in favor to hold talks with the Taliban. So I think these talks will go on, but it's very hard time for Pakistan. And the other aspect is also, if you see, the Pakistani Prime Minister is in USA. And last month when he went to China, there was an attack on Chinese people in the mountains of Pakistan. And now when he went to General Assembly, this incident happened. So many people say there is the conspiracy theory that it's to bring Pakistan under pressure internationally. So I think, despite all these odds, talks with Taliban will go on.
Toaha, do you think that that many residents in Pakistan, many Pakistanis, looking back on the whole period of the war on terror, will think, all right, we were pushed into or encouraged to be part of the attack on Afghanistan by the Americans under Musharraf. Now we're being encouraged to sort out a peace deal with with the Taliban. Maybe we'd be better off without this?
Well, this whole thing has become a very lucrative business now, you see, for arms dealers as well as for mercenaries. And now, I don't know whether it is in the media yet or not, but my sources say to me today that 2 British people, they have died in Syria. This is where the problem lies now. How far can we go and where are we going to stop? And this is what I said the other day, that instead of us getting into every other country's issues, we need to really look into our internal problem in the United Kingdom and the United States, so that we provide better quality education, better quality health for our own people instead of thinking about others. So now British people have started going to, they went to Libya, we know that, there is evidence there. Now 2 people have died, as a matter of fact, in Syria. I know this for a fact. And there will be many others who are still hidden, or the names that haven't come out yet. So how far can we go? This is, like Azhar rightly said, that Prime Minister was going to UNO, the this General Assembly's meeting. And this issue has come up suddenly to put the Prime Minister under pressure, as a matter of fact, not just the country, Prime Minister under pressure. And everybody knows prior to election, Mr. Sharif, as a matter of fact, made absolutely clear that they will have dialogue with the Taliban. And are there really Taliban who are doing this? See, it makes me wonder how many other parties are operating in Pakistan to destroy Pakistan's stability and destroy Pakistan's image in other parts of the world. There were attacks on the army barracks, there were attacks on the naval headquarters, the aerial headquarters, Air Force headquarters were attacked. And I mean, where are you going to stop? Everything was attacked. Police is being killed. Churches are being attacked. The mosques, the mandars, and the other worship places. Nobody is safe. So I think there is a huge effort put in by the anti-Pakistan forces to destabilize Pakistan. And they always say to the Western countries, this is in our interest here to make Pakistan a stable country, make Pakistan a viable, financially viable, stable country. We bring peace in Pakistan, the whole southeastern region, Asia will be stable, and this will bring stability in peace to other countries.
Yunas, let me ask you this: Do you think that this genie can be put back in the bottle? Because so much of this runs out of the engagement in the war on terror 13 years ago now. Do you think that the processes that Toaha's referred to can be unwound?
Well, I think the thing is that I suppose the best way to describe it is that Pakistan is between a rock and a hard place. It's tried to do military means to resolve this issue, and it hasn't been very successful, and it's caused a lot of civilian damage and a lot of internal displacement of refugees. Alternatively, when it tries to negotiate, what it finds is actually they don't speak with one voice. There's a multiplicity of voices within which there are people who have no interest in negotiation because they're basically criminal gangs which are using this as a cover. So the problem seems to me is that the Pakistani authorities are going to have to chip away at this, because some people want to talk and some people don't want to talk, and they need to actually differentiate between the two. But again, there is actually a much more deeper problem, because when you bring these people to the negotiation table, when you talk Baitullah Masood and people like that, come to the negotiation table, what do you offer them? I mean, when it was Northern Ireland, McGuinness became a minister in the government. Do we have this scenario emerging here, that some of these leaders will become political leaders within mainstream Pakistani politics? I mean, unless that carrot is dangled there and the consequences of that realized, you will not be able to separate them from the other groups. Then on another level, when you're talking about demobilization, you need to actually have some kind of program on the ground that is going to give these people some kind of alternative to simply what you call turning to crime, because they're no longer being paid to actually be what you call mercenaries or ideological mercenaries of some kind. So I think there is a very difficult problem. and it will take time. It's not something which they can do overnight, but they're going to have to talk and use the stick at the same time to wiggle their way through to find some kind of solution to the problem.
Okay, let me put that there. I mean, Azhar, do you think that that this is a problem which, if it were resolved in Afghanistan, would go away in Pakistan? Or has it now developed its own dynamic inside Pakistan, and even if there were peace in Afghanistan, it wouldn't settle the question in Pakistan?
No, I think if it's been resolved in Afghanistan, it will still persist in Pakistan, because as I said, there are around 25 Taliban groups who are criminal element as well in these groups. So Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, the band outfit, it have very deep roots in these tribal areas on this Waziristan. So until and unless you talk to these group on Pakistani side, you will not be able to eliminate them, or you are not able to convince them to withdraw their men from these region. So there are on the Pakistani side, Taliban are very difficult. They are very difficult to negotiate. But on the other side of Afghanistan, they have one person, Mullah Umar, to whom they can talk. But on this side, they have 25 groups. So it's very difficult to.
Just put that point to Tam. Do you think that resolving Afghanistan, if that were possible, it would help, but would it resolve the situation in Pakistan, or do you agree with Azhar that it's...
As I said right in the beginning, it's a multi-pronged issue. I mean, resolving problem in Pakistan, I'll pick up what Professor Yunas said, that what is in it for them, for Afghan Taliban and for Pakistani Taliban and other groups who are involved in this whole game. Of course, in Afghanistan, there is a political process, and all the stakeholders are in this favor that Taliban should be brought in on the political surface and given a fair share. So, of course, there is something in it for them as well, politically.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to stop you there because we are running out of time for the first half of the programme. But we will be discussing this issue in the second half as well, and we'll be looking at developments on the Afghan side of the border. So do rejoin us after the break.